Where in the Folk is not and should not be viewed as a news source. Any names, places, or likenesses mentioned are purely fictional, and any information discussed is purely speculative. Guest opinions are their own and do not reflect those of anyone else. Where in the Folk is not responsible for content accuracy of any stories that are told or what people do with these stories. This show is vulgar, sometimes graphic, and due to its content, it should not be viewed by anyone, actually.
Welcome everybody to another episode of Where in the Folk. Sorry that we was late, Landa. I see that you posted there. Tully was showing us his flare up.
What? What?
I hope everybody had a great week. And thank you all for tuning in again tonight. And we're going to bring some wild stuff, but Tully wants to address something before we get started. What would you like to address, good sir?
Well, I wouldn't necessarily say address. I just, we had a comment on one of our Rumble videos. This was on a Friday Night Live video from mid-October. We, I guess, had talked about Antarctica.
Probably.
Which we talk about Antarctica a lot. And let me see. I need to pull up the username so that I can. It was EasyMac79.
Sup, EasyMac79.
EasyMac79. He says, what actually stops someone from getting in a boat and sailing to Antarctica? Who do you theoretically get permission from? It's too big of a place to enforce that kind of level of security, I would imagine.
Water. The waves going into Antarctica are huge, so you have to have, a pretty skilled person to take you there. You can't really get permission from anybody, and it is heavily patrolled. It is. Even people who's been to Antarctica that we've known and have talked to and completely disagree with the wall theory says it's heavily patrolled and you cannot get to it.
Well, I think about, so Roswell, not the exact same thing, but Roswell is over 5,000 acres.
Yeah.
And nobody has ever managed to make it on.
Yeah.
And it's because there's super advanced security technology at Roswell. And if there is something that they wanted to keep secret in Antarctica, they could totally do that through radar, they got Bouvet Island that's out there with the big HARP center. I'm sure there's a massive radar there that would show any anomalies.
Oh, yeah. They know you're coming 200 miles before you get close. Like, you know what I mean? Like, they know you're coming. There's
well, and if you were to embark and land somewhere that's not, there's no people, the odds of you surviving it until you got somewhere, would probably be difficult too.
Oh, yeah, for sure. For sure.
And for those just tuning in, we had a comment this week about how someone would, what would actually stop someone from making it to Antarctica on a boat, who they would get permission from to go, and is it too big of a place to enforce security? The answer to the last question is definitely not. There's radar, there's satellite technology that could cover that whole face of the ocean for anomalies. I don't think you can get permission from anybody. I think the government just kind of tells people who's allowed to go to Antarctica.
I'm sure
Paperwork.
I'm sure there's some. Go ahead. I was just saying, I'm sure there's some kind of way to do it. You probably have to go through the United Nations and hey, we'll go to Antarctica.
like the Discovery Channel.
Yeah. or have a
I
lot
know
of.
that they have like a competition every so many years. I forget how, it's not every year in Antarctica, but it's like trailed out where they can, do it's almost like cross country skiing type thing.
Oh yeah.
And fun fact though, they were hiring a postmaster
Yeah.
last year.
I feel like that area of Antarctica where people are allowed to go
Mm-hmm.
is like the unrestricted part.
Yeah.
Right. Yep. If you
And,
start trying to mosey away from that area, somebody's going to stop you and turn you back around.
It's like the supermarket at North Korea. Like
Yeah.
they want you to see what they want you to see and don't want you to see what you're not supposed to.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Makes
I like to
perfect
go
sense.
for the penguins.
Right.
No,
Um,
I mean, it
Funny,
was
part
really
of the
go
go
ahead.
ahead.
No, I said it'd be really fun. It'd be funny for sure.
It was part of the job description for the postmaster was cleaning up the penguin poop
I got
on the
pressure.
sidewalk.
Cecil, I don't know if you had a chance to see it. I did send you a video for today.
Yeah, I got it.
I know we talk about drone technology a lot, and there's a lot of drone warfare going on the battlefronts that are happening in the world. Check out this video. It is someone who got very lucky, and I have no idea why they're filming this. Like it.
I don't see the maximize, so I'm just gonna play it.
Yeah. Okay. We don't have audio, but you can see it. So this is a drone with a ballistic tip taped to it, and it failed to go off. If you were to listen to this video, you can still hear it beeping.
Nice.
So I would say they got very lucky that somebody didn't remote detonate that in the back of the truck while they were filming it. But that truck belongs to the drone now. Like I would be afraid to pick that up.
It was on,
who would you even call? Hey,
they're putting RPG tips on drones. Like that's terrifying.
that looked like a drone you can buy at Walmart.
It probably was. It probably was. You have to think like these aren't the most advanced. It's not like they're out there fighting with the robot dogs and stuff. It's still just people at this point.
So what you're saying is that, that we were talking a few weeks ago about the government is wanting to like assign drones to our soldiers. So that's not that group that we're
not there yet.
Okay.
No, we're not there yet. But we have to have a Friday feel good moment, or not feel good.
It's kind of feel good. That's about how long I like to do it.
Same.
So the Friday feel good for this week is a New Zealand airport wants people to hug goodbye faster. Emotional farewells are common at airports, but travelers leaving New Zealand of Dunedin will have to be quick. A new 3-minute time limit on goodbyes.
A 3-minute hug? That's eternity. It feels like my skin's burning.
I think it's farewells. It's farewells in general need to be wrapped up in 3 minutes. I know it focuses on hugs, but they have added warning signs outside of their terminals that say max hug time 3 minutes. For fonder farewells, please use the parking lot.
If you're hugging more than 3 minutes, then you're fucked.
They were accused of breaching basic human rights because of this.
Yeah. So people have been polarized, saying that, like you said, they were accused of breaching human rights, and how dare we limit how long we can give somebody a hug for. But visitors breaking the rule, like I said, will now be asked to move their lingering embraces to the parking lot where they can cuddle free of charge for 15 minutes.
I mean, a 3-minute hug is outrageous, right? Am I the only one that thinks this?
No, I agree with you. I'm
they
one of
have
those,
to be talking
I
about
love
farewells.
you, mwah, and go. We took care of the goodbyes before we left the house this morning.
Yeah, I mean, even if I get an emergency phone call, that's like 20 seconds. I'm like, okay, all right, I heard, bye. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I can imagine just standing there hugging for 33 minutes solid. I don't know. That's weird. Let's
Yeah.
see. But I got to put on my spectacles because I can't see anything. Thanks, Vincent.
hey, Easy Mac. I don't know if you were you on for the we had an Antarctica discussion a minute ago.
Yeah, we talked about it. We brought it up.
so if you weren't on for that, we can hit it again and we can talk about it. But if you were, just let us know what you think. Like,
yeah,
it is interesting. It's an interesting thought.
I don't know, man. I'm not a big hugger. I really ain't.
No. I just want to know how to make my girlfriend want me more. That's cracking me up.
I get it, man.
Oh, okay. Yeah. We've talked about, like, we especially like on our longer Saturday shows, like we've talked a lot about Antarctica, but maybe we should do a proper episode sometime.
We did once upon a time.
Once upon a time.
Yeah. But I want to bring up something that I don't know if you've got or not.
Awesome.
Hey, thanks, man. Appreciate it. So have you ever had a bad day in traffic?
Yes.
I'm sure you had up there, you fucking city boy. But so imagine that you're just driving along, going to work, already pissed off that you have to go to work.
Okay.
Then all of a sudden, a white sheet covers your windshield. Couldn't get any worse, right? Well, the white sheet blows off, and there's a body laying in the road. That's what
somebody
Huh?
threw a body off a bridge?
No, that's what happened to somebody in Warsaw, Poland recently, 3 days ago, I believe. A funeral home in Poland issued an unusual apology on Saturday, so it was last week, after a corpse that was in transit fell out of a hearse and into traffic. Polish media reported that the man was driving down the street Friday, and when he first saw a sheet on his car window, and that's when he noticed the sheet slid down and he saw a body, and instantly he's like, I just killed somebody. He thought he ran him over. But come to find out, the body had just slid right out of the back of a hearse.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So
that's terrible. That sounds like a lawsuit.
So
Yeah.
so basically, it is with this is their apology is with deep regret that we inform you that as a result of an unexpected technical failure of the electric tailgate lock in the hearse during the transit of the body of the deceased, an unfortunate event occurred, which does not reflect the high standards of our company. Our deep empathy towards the family of the deceased and the respect we always show to the deceased, the company wrote in a public statement.
That's terrible.
I mean, it's horrible, but I don't know, that might give me the energy to get through a day if that happened to me.
Or cause you to have a heart attack. There's the alternative to that.
Yeah, I wouldn't be going into work after that. No way. Vincent, I saw your comment. We on Fridays we usually do strange news from the past week, and then we do Saturday shows that are more long form. We go for a couple hours and we'll do like cryptids, paranormal. Sometimes we have guests who are authors or that have been on like TV. We do a lot of conspiratorials. You name it. We do a little bit of everything here.
Yep. A little bit of everything. So what we got next on the hit line?
Morgana, do you want to go?
Yeah. Okay, so I'm going with Florida's convicted killer clown.
That was crazy.
Yeah. So there was this woman in Florida. Hey, there's some strange people from Florida.
There are some strange people.
I resemble that, Mark.
So she pled guilty to dressing as a clown, and in 1990 she murdered the wife of the man that she later married. Well, she was released from prison last Saturday, ending a case that was even strange by Florida standards. Sheila Keene Warren, 61, was released 18 months after she pleaded guilty to second-degree murder for shooting Marlene Warren. So the plea deal came shortly before her trial would have started. She swears she was innocent, but she was sentenced to 12 years in prison, but she had been in custody for 7 years since her arrest in 2017. So she did it in 1990 and didn't get arrested until 2017.
Nice.
But she was suspected of it all that time. So, and of course, she was released in about 2 years after actually agreeing to a plea bargain. Then, there are the people who swear up and down that, she was innocent, and they were really happy that she was released and returned to her family. And they still swear she did not do it. Marlene Warren's son, the actual victim's son, and his friends were home when they said a person dressed as a clown rang the doorbell. He said when his mom answered, the clown handed her some balloons, and she responded with, "Well, how nice," and the clown pulled out a gun and shot her in the face before fleeing. So took them 27 years to get improved DNA testing to tie her to evidence found in the getaway car.
Yeah.
And even then, they still said that the evidence was weak, because she was an employee of this woman's husband at his used car lot. And they had reported the car stolen about 30 days before the murder happened. So, there's a chance that, she had been in the car showing it to somebody. So, like I said, the two of them got married in 2002. So, 12 years after the incident, and moved to Virginia. Said they ran a restaurant for a while, and people, claimed that they were having an affair when all this happened, but they both denied it. And then over the years, the detective said they had costume shop employees identify her as the woman who had bought a clown suit a few days before the killing. And one of the two, right? One of the
it's
two
not
balloons.
funny. It's not funny.
Yeah, it is. But like I said, you've got all of this circumstantial evidence that you can't do anything with. But said that the presumed getaway car was found abandoned with orange hair-like fibers inside. It was a white Chrysler convertible. As I said, it had been stolen about a month before off of his car lot. And then relatives of Marlene Warren, the victim, who was 40 when she died, said that, she had been suspecting that her husband was having an affair, but didn't know who it was. But so she allegedly told her mother that if anything happens to me, Mike done it. So he was never charged and denied involvement, but the case just kind of fell apart until they were able to do more in-depth DNA testing. But the ironic part of this is she spent less than 2 years in jail. Well, Michael, the husband, was convicted in 1994 of grand theft, racketeering, and odometer tamping, and served 4 years in prison. So he got more for, changing the odometers than she got for murder.
Now, growing up as a child in Florida in a car dealership, I'm going to go out there and say that there's no way possible that a car dealer can be a sleazy person.
Right?
Well, yeah, obviously he was involved.
They're the most straightforward people you'll ever meet. They don't lie, nothing.
I just can't believe that they didn't, like, if they were holding her on suspicion like that, why weren't they holding him on suspicion too?
Yeah. See, I wondered that also. And they did not expound on that. The reason that his attorney says he spent 4 years was in response to the murder, that they couldn't get him on that. So, they gave him a longer sentence for racketeering and stuff. But
that's crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, she did it, right?
Right.
And he knew about it. Like, that was a setup, right? wonder if she honked a horn first. Honk, honk. No, that's me. I'm wrong. I'm sorry.
That's terrible. What's terrible is like part of their evidence is people saying that she would buy in a clown suit like that.
I was buying it for, pillow talk.
Right.
This is a coincidence.
Well, I do know some weird people. I mean, so I'm not going to even say that wasn't a possibility, but
I mean, everybody's got a clown costume. I got one in my closet.
Yep.
Well, Stephen sent one about, and this is close to Beaufort in South Carolina. Apparently, residents locked down their homes this week after 43 monkeys escaped from a bioresearch lab.
I think that's awesome that they escaped.
This is a Theo Vaughn joke too, by the way. Like,
so it says that over 40 monkeys are on the loose in a small South Carolinian town after escaping a medical research facility. Residents in Yamasee, a town of 1,000, less than 50 miles away from Charleston, have been told to lock their doors and windows to prevent the primates from entering their homes. The animals escaped at 1 p.m. on Wednesday from the Alpha Genesis lab that tests experimental drugs, vaccines, and various infectious diseases and disorders. I do want to put an asterisk on that. So the officials say that none of these monkeys in particular that got loose were experimented on. That this is pre-experimentation that they were able to get loose.
sure.
Yeah. Officers have also said that there is minimal risk to the public, and it comes after 3 primates escaped a vehicle carrying them to the lab in 2022 following a road accident.
That was in Pennsylvania, wasn't it?
No, they're talking about the same facility. They said a monkey also escaped from the same center in 2016 after its cage wasn't properly locked. One resident on Twitter said that the monkeys escape from Yamasee every year. That stuff happens every year.
Do better to secure the facility. It happens all the time. Don't worry about that.
Yeah.
I remember that movie with Dustin Hoffman, I think it was, Outbreak.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Yep. And apparently these monkeys are very distinct. They have brown or grayish fur with pink faces, and they're native to South and Central and Southeast Asia. They are adaptable to a lot of different habitats. So, around this area in South Carolina, you may have quote unquote cryptid sightings for the next 50 or 100 years from these monkeys.
For sure.
Do you want to know what I find very interesting about this? Is that they're rhesus macacas, which is where the RH factor is thought to have come from.
I wasn't about to try to say that name. I'm glad. I'm glad
Okay.
that you were.
I'm giving myself some props here. I did a lot of design work for a primate preservation society for several years. So I probably know more about monkeys than I ever wanted to know.
Okay.
Yeah. So, and they're cool. I mean, it never occurred to me because, I live here. So I know that there are foods we eat that people in other countries don't eat. I never realized that primates were a bush meat in a lot of countries.
There's actually
no idea.
There's actually an update to the story that I just literally pulled up. As soon as I pulled up my Explorer, it was the first thing that popped up. 43 escaped research monkeys still on the loose in South Carolina after a caretaker failed to shut 2 doors.
Two
doors.
That's great. That almost seems like it's on purpose, like sabotage.
Fly, be free.
Yeah. Well, I brought another wild story about the outer limits of gene editing. If you want me to rip this one real quick.
Rip it, bro.
So they've created animal cells that are capable of photosynthesis for the first time.
What the?
And this is in Japan. So, in an incredible feat that redefines biological boundaries, scientists have successfully engineered animal cells that are capable of photosynthesis. The breakthrough was led by a professor at the University of Tokyo that could transform medical research in advancing lab grown meat production. It's crazy how much of this gene editing stuff is geared toward meat production or like lab grown production.
Yeah.
It's going to end up being like a Soylent Green type thing. It's humans, like, you know.
Yeah. So attempts at creating photosynthesizing animal cells dates back to the 1970s. If we can get even part of our photosynthesis to occur in animal cells, we can reduce the amount of oxygen consumed, reduce the amount of sugar eaten, and carbon emissions. His name's Matsunaga, the professor, and this is him talking about this. It says, however, challenges lie in convincing animal cells to accept chloroplasts, which are the cellular structures where photosynthesis happens in plants, obviously. Previously, animal cells would destroy chloroplasts, recognizing them as foreign invaders like bacteria, viruses, and they've engineered it to where they no longer recognize them as foreign invaders. Now, think about the implications of just that. Like, if you can engineer bacteria and viruses that to where your body wouldn't recognize that to even set off your immune system, that has like far-reaching implications way outside of lab-grown meat production.
Oh yeah. I don't know. They're going to end up creating some kind of crazy beast. Like this kind of reminds me of the movie where the guy turned into a plant. What was it called? It might have been like Creep Show or something.
It was a Stephen King one.
This is like the beginning of the Last of Us, like where people are half mushroom. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I like to be half mushroom.
Stephen King had Cat's Eye. It was like an anthology that had like 5 little short stories, and he turned into a plant.
That's crazy.
One of them.
It seems like here lately, every week we have some story of gene editing that is just so bizarre. It doesn't seem like it could be real. And these stories just go unnoticed because it's on the undercurrent of, the big stories that just command everybody's attention.
You're not going to turn on your local television and hear this.
Correct.
You're not going to grab ABC and start talking about this because it's only weird people like us look for this kind of stuff, or people that are like in that field. I mean, so, like I said, we've talked about, gene editing and everything pretty regularly lately, and just the implications of some of the stuff, if people ever realized that, it would be, I think, a whole different atmosphere as to how people reacted to it.
All the human brain organoids that they're making and controlling and putting human brains into artificial spotter robots and all this other stuff.
It's wild, man. And we live in a crazy time right now for sure. I'm excited to see what happens.
They're creating horrors beyond the human comprehension at this point.
Well, not too long ago, they finally sent a particle back in time. So, I mean, maybe that's on the horizon too,
Yeah.
Who's to say Mothman doesn't live in a mech suit? This everything that we're talking about, everything is starting to add up to that being the future of humanity.
Well, yeah, there's a lot of people saying that we've jumped timelines again in the last couple of days. I didn't put the story in here, but there was a huge spike in the Schumann resonance this week that have led people to believe that there's been another shift, and it has come. Wait for this. This is going to help our December show. It has came with brand new Mandela effects.
Yay!
One of which actually shredded my brain about an hour before we got on the show.
That's easy to do.
So apparently, Michelangelo's David.
Mhm.
Has he got a hog on him now?
It's not only that, but so the eyes of David have always been either smooth or some people remember them being like carved in.
Mhm.
The eyes of David are now hearts.
No,
Google it.
no.
And
I'm
now
still trying to get over the Wizard of Oz.
and
so-
now there's all these people being like, I'm buying tickets, I'm going to see it myself. There's no way that the pupils are hearts.
You're fucking.
And yeah, if you're out there listening, if you Google it, the statue David now has hearts in its eyes.
Let's go ahead and get that.
No. Look, I had to study art history for fucking ever in college.
Yeah. So there's that. So brand new Mandela effects on the way for our Mandela. We always do a Mandela show in December every year. So that'll be on the list.
That's
And there's
bullshit.
there's other pictures too where it's more dead on and it just looks creepy. It looks like uncanny almost.
Yeah, that's new to me, but
But for the record, anybody that was on here a few weeks ago when we were talking about the Wizard of Oz Mandela, where everybody has weapons,
yeah.
I did open an previously unopened Blu-ray that I've had about 10 years, and I'll be damned if it did not have
A 6-shooter.
a 6-shooter. And then the Cowardly Lion had a big giant bug sprayer and a net. And then the Tin Man had a wrench that was about my height that he carried around.
Yeah, the pistol always gets me because he's like,
Yeah.
it's just
and they never use any of these weapons. And it happens that they have them at a good time to use them.
Yeah.
And
so yeah, all of this amid a massive Schumann spike this week. And I don't know what that means necessarily, but we've seen Schumann spikes in the past, and you know, there's been some when they're running these accelerators. You know, who knows what's going on like behind the scenes that people are doing that is messing with, you know, certain aspects of reality.
I just had a thought too. We do need to do a new Antarctica episode because I'm pretty confident that the Antarctica episode we did was on bipolar teddy bear, and those have all been scrubbed from the internet.
Well, I mean, we could do one this weekend, next weekend, before the holidays fire up.
Holiday fires. We'll talk about it.
Yep, we'll talk about it. Planet X was a point of topic again this week.
Oh, they finally acknowledged it this time?
Sort of. They're calling it. So instead of saying it's Planet X, they said a discovery of a hidden ninth planet could reshape astronomy.
10th planet.
Exactly. That's why it was Planet X to begin with.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But yeah, apparently they're still trying to prove out the existence of Planet X, and people are like, basically, you can't stop this discovery from happening. Like it, we're pretty confident that there's an extra planet in our solar system.
Well,
Yep.
What is the thing that's been lingering in the night sky below the moon? What is that?
I don't know.
Huh.
I don't know, but astronomers are saying that the hidden planet would be beyond Neptune, which could explain unusual orbital patterns in the Kuiper belt. So it's past Neptune. And the potential, they say the potential existence began to gain traction in 2016, but I've heard stuff about Planet X since the 90s.
Oh yeah. Oh
I
yeah.
had a little boy that was like 12 years old one night just start going on and on about, you know, Planet X and what is it, Yearby?
Your sound's working, Cecil.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Sorry about that. But I want to know what this is. If anybody out there has any information on this, I actually shot this video the other day. That's the moon, which looks weird. But what is that?
Well, conventional wisdom would tell you that that's a planet, but I don't know what planet.
Yeah, right there. It's just kind of hanging out, brighter than the moon. So I don't know.
Yep, I'm not sure either, but I guarantee it would tell you it's some kind of planet.
Probably.
One of the planets.
They said that right now, everything that's available, if you look east, is Capella, the Pleiades, Hyades, Aldebaran.
Oh yeah. That it may be that, Easy Mac. Remember we talked about this like a week or two ago.
The second moon.
Yeah.
Maybe.
That's probably it.
I bet that is what it is, Easy Mac. Because we were talking about this through the week. Like I was seeing it, and I asked Cecil about it, and he's like, "Yeah, I see it too." It's definitely bright. Like it's brighter than what Venus would normally show in the sky.
Yeah.
Well, and I will tell you too, what's really cool is right now you can also see Betelgeuse.
Oh, that is cool.
Yeah.
I went and watched Beetlejuice the other day.
How was it? Because I haven't watched it yet.
It's okay.
Yeah. Was
Just
it as good
okay?
as the first one?
It's all right. It wasn't as good as the first one. I don't like that they didn't have any representation for Alec and that other woman, the two leads in it. In the original one, but they still had representation of the dad from the first one who has done some pretty nefarious stuff. Like he got ate by, spoiler alert, he got ate by a shark, so it's just his body walking around with a big chunk took out of its butt. Like his head and stuff isn't there. But later they show his tombstone and his face is right there, and I was like,
Because weren't they stuck in the house for 100 years?
Yeah.
Per the storyline? Yeah.
Yeah, that is terrible. I don't like that.
I don't like it either. But it's okay. It's all right.
Okay. I mean, I'll watch it because it's a requirement. I have to watch it.
It's worth a while.
I think
and I will buy it because I have to have it as a set now.
The cool thing about Beetlejuice coming out with part 2 is I was able to buy my Beetlejuice Hey Dudes. So
I think, well, that was all the stories that I brought that were like crazy this week, but we are talking about the Congo, all of the mysteries and legends surrounding the Congo here in 20 minutes on Weird Realities, Weird Awakenings. You can join that conversation if you go to Weird Realities with a Y, WYRD, on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter. Does that cover the?
Yes.
I think that covers it. But we'll be on there in 20 minutes to talk about the Congo. There's a lot of weird stuff, a lot of legends and lore and sightings of strange things. So if you're interested in that, come hang out with us.
Yeah.
I saw stuff that I don't ever want to see in real life, just for the record.
Yeah. I do want to bring up this fact. Long John Silver's, how are they still in business?
Money laundering? Like it?
There is a Long John Silver's in my town, and I drove by it the other night during business hours, and all the lights were off. And it just so happens my wife wanted Long John Silver's, which is like a once in a 2-year thing. So I was like, I wonder if they just didn't turn the lights on. So I walked in, and they were open. They just hadn't turned the lights on.
So there was a time maybe like 3 years ago where her grandparents wanted it, and we stopped, and they're like, "Oh, you're the first customers we've had all day. We'll have to turn the fryers and stuff on." And I forget, it's been years ago, but I remember seeing something about loose cartel ties that the CEO has. So I mean, you never know.
It's a fast food seafood restaurant created in Lexington, Kentucky. That's franchised across the United States that you never see anybody.
I'm going to be honest with you. I have never seen one that wasn't mixed in with a KFC or a Taco Bell. I mean, it's always Long John Silver's with something.
You
Because
gotta
it threw me the first time I saw one at KFC, because I'm like, they already sell chicken. Why are they selling chicken and chicken?
Yeah.
You know?
you gotta come to Kentucky. We got standalone Long John.
Okay.
Yep. There's one here in town, and it's exactly like he said. There's never anybody at it, and it's been open. It stays open. Their electric bills probably cost more than the amount of people that shop or eats there.
When I walked into this place, they were shocked. They was like, "What the hell?" Like somebody they were out back smoking or something. I don't know, smoking the devil's lettuce or something.
It's like that time we showed the intersection in Texas that has 5 different mattress firms within a quarter mile. like people are actually going and buying that many mattresses.
And I figured that there were standalones, but like I said, they're just I've never seen any down here.
Now the one in our hometown where me, Tolly and I grew up, it's popping. There's always somebody at that place.
Yeah, but that's also a poverty-stricken area.
Yeah, that's true. There's 2
Well,
restaurants.
that's like, at home, it was always KFC was the place. If you went out, wanted to get something for the munchies at 2 a.m, they were the only place open. We didn't have a McDonald's until I was a teenager. And the only other restaurant in town besides that was a Sonic. So, when you have only 3 places for everybody to go, they all do killer business.
Yeah.
We need to do a deep dive into Long Johns.
Yeah, we could do businesses that potentially are fronts for other things.
I still have to find that pizza place.
Yeah. And I do know there's a direct link from the Cocaine Bear to get into that sometime.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
But anyway, follow us, click the like, subscribe if you want to support us. You can do that. You can buy us coffee up here if you want to give us some money. I would prefer $1,000, but anything else. You can catch us on everything. I'm going to try to start uploading back to BitChute, but it's such a hassle. I just kind of like cut out.
BitChute's behind because Cecil's lost his mind.
Yeah. But everything else should be fairly up to date. And of course, you can watch us live every week on Rumble, YouTube, Twitter.
Yep.
And of course, go over and watch Weird Awakenings here in about 15 minutes, roughly.
And we'll do a Saturday show here coming up, at some point. We'll give you guys some advance notice. Just follow the Twitter. If you don't, we post on there with show updates. Yeah.
Go to Weird Realities Network to watch Weird Awakenings here in a few minutes, and go and check out Paranormally Correct. That's our friends on TikTok. Esther, she does a kind of a coast to coast thing where people come on, tell stories and whatnot. I don't know when she's going to go live. She's kind of changed her schedule around on that, but you can go and watch some of her older videos. They're really cool. Also go check out the Folk and Weird TikTok. I went back to it earlier and I was like, oh, these are good videos.
If I get bored when it starts getting cold, I may fire that back up and start making some videos. I've had some ideas for some different type of content, but related to that.
Yeah.
I expect you to get out in the field and get some the other stuff. Some weird.
Oh, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to go to this Long John Silver's.
Go do an investigation at Long John Silver's.
I'm going to set up a hidden camera and go back in the morning, and I'm going to go back and get it in the evening. We're going to time lapse that motherfucker and see how many people comes in there.
I don't know if that's legal.
100% legal. But anyway, thank you all for tuning in. We love it, and we love the chats and everything. And thank you for communicating with us.
Yeah.
And until next time, thank you for watching us, because we are watching you.
Peace.